أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي زدني علما آمين ثم آمين Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to LQ Milton, class number 10. We'll begin our class with the usual drill of Damir Munfasil or Damair Munfasil. The Jama of Damir pronoun is Damair, pronouns. And how many of them there are? 14 of them. Okay. So, we will continue refreshing our mind in every class the 14 pronouns, Damir Munfasil, detached pronouns. When I say detached pronoun, what does that mean? That means that these pronouns come on their own, they do not attach themselves to anything. There is another kind of pronouns which we call Damair Muttasil, attached pronouns. We have not learned those yet, but inshallah soon we will learn. So, let us do the drill first, the 14 pronouns. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. One more time. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. We have been practicing these damairs over the past few classes. In the last class, we introduced the verb past tense. We introduced the verb past tense. And then we conjugated the verb zahaba, kharaja. Now, in conjugating the verbs, there is a pattern, there is a die, and in a last class when we conjugated the verb, we identified where the doer of the action is in the verb. So, I asked everybody to conjugate the verb nasara. For that, I shared a sheet on WhatsApp group. Hopefully, some of you may have tried conjugating the verb nasara. Let us do the verb nasara. Nasara, nasara, nasaru, nasarat, nasarata, nasarna, nasarta, nasartuma, nasartum, nasarti, nasartuma, nasartunna, nasartu, nasarna. What is the meaning of nasara? He helped. He helped. When I say nasara, the verb, it means he helped in past tense. But what if I want to say I helped? What do I say? Nasartu. When I say we helped, nasarna. When I say you won, masculine, second person helped, what do I say? Nasarta. When I say she helped, third person singular, nasarat, right? So we need to practice and memorize whenever we are conjugating the verbs, and the verb, when we come across a verb in Quran, what exactly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing to, or who is the doer of the action. So huwa nasara, huma nasara, with an alif in the end. This alif represents the fa'il. This alif here represents the fa'il. Hum nasaru, the vav represents the fa'il. Nasarat, here the fa'il is inside the verb. Mustatir, hidden. Taqdiruhu, estimation of it is here. Ta is taw tanisi. Ta is not the fa'il. Faraz bhai, ta is not the fa'il. Ta is taw tanisi. Nasarat, the fa'il is here. Then huma nasarata, alif represents the fa'il. Hunna nasarna, anta nasarta, antuma nasartuma, antum nasartum, anti nasarti, antuma nasartuma, antunna nasartunna, ana nasartu, nahnu nasarna. So keep practicing, and the form that I have shared in the WhatsApp, try to write these verbs, the conjugation of these verbs down. Let's pick up another verb, for example. After jalasa, 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 jalasu, jalasat, jalasata, jalasna, jalasta, jalastuma, jalastum, jalasti, jalastuma, jalastunna, jalastu, jalasna. I sat, jalastu. He sat, jalasa. You sat, masculine, jalasta. You sat, feminine, jalasti, right? So we need to, and when I say jalasti, ti, the end, represents the fa'il. For now, we'll just keep it simple, right? So also on the WhatsApp, I've shared a chart where there are verbs. Every week, try to pick 2 verbs and conjugate them. Print out the empty forms and then fill them up. Just the first column, fi'l madi. We are only doing the madi, the past tense only, right? Conjugate them. So this is the conjugation of the past tense, just to refresh our minds. But we'll be doing more of these as we go along in our class. Before I begin lesson number 5, because there are a few exercises that are left in lesson number 5, I would like to introduce a new concept that we are learning today in lesson number 6. After understanding this concept, we will try and then feel some of these ayahs in the Quran. And when I say feel, because in the course of our study, we are not there yet to grammatically analyze these ayahs completely and understand the emotions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But whatever we have learned so far, we'll try to apply that knowledge while we are looking at these ayahs of Quran. And slowly we'll build our knowledge over the period of few years, so that when these ayahs come across, we don't have to rely on translation. We can understand these ayahs in the original context, in the original language of Quran directly, without the aid of any translation. And since we have the grammar knowledge, we would also be able to understand the emotions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these ayahs. If there is an emphasis, if there is an order, if there is an advice given, and why choice of certain words, because each and every word is like a gem. So when I am looking at each word, I have to think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used a word for a purpose, and then once I ponder upon that word, I would be getting the gems out of and the emotions from those ayahs. So the concept we are learning today is about Ismu Ishara. Ismu Ishara, the demonstrative noun. We have learned Ismu Ishara, book 1, lesson 1, Haza. Remember Haza Baitun, Haza Masjidun. Over the course of last few classes, I had mentioned that the nouns in Arabic language are either feminine in nature or masculine in nature, right. So every noun is either identified as a feminine gender or as a masculine gender, right. And for the living things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created them in pairs, right, in pairs. So when I say tabibun, tabibun means doctor, but that tabibun means a male doctor. What if I have to say a female doctor? Then I would say tabiba tun. Remember the ta marbuta, the golta that comes. So most of the nouns I can create a feminine gender from the masculine gender just by adding a ta or golta or ta marbuta at the end of that noun, right. Now in Jumla Ismiya, we are looking for Mubtada and Khabar. And as we are progressing, there are two things that we did not discuss, and today is the time that we will discuss about Mubtada Khabar. Mubtada is subject and Khabar is predicate. When the Khabar or predicate is one word, mufrad, then it is marfu, right, the first kind of Khabar, Haza Baitun, Haza Masjidun. Now Mubtada and Khabar, when the Khabar is one word, has to match in gender and has to match in number. For example, if the Mubtada is representing a singular, the Khabar has to be singular. If the Mubtada is representing dual or two, musanna, the Khabar has to be dual or musanna as well. If the Mubtada is plural or jama, the Khabar has to be jama as well. They have to match. Second thing, gender. If the Mubtada is representing a masculine gender, the Khabar has to be masculine gender as well. The noun coming as a Khabar has to be masculine as well. If the Mubtada is representing feminine gender, the Khabar has to be a feminine gender as well. Haza. What is the Haza? Ismu Ishara lil Qarib. This is the noun that is demonstrated for things that are near to us. Haza Baitun. This is a house. This is a house. Haza. Haza is used for masculine. Haza Masjidun. This is a masjid, a mosque, right. Haza is used for masculine. What if the Khabar is or the predicate is feminine? Would I use Haza then? No, I would use hazihi. For example, if I want to say this is a doctor, a male doctor, then I would say haza tabibun. Haza tabibun. This is a doctor. But if it's a female doctor, then I don't say haza tabibatun. I say hazihi tabibatun. Hazihi tabibatun. This is a doctor, but a female doctor, right? Tabibatun has a ta marbuta at the end. That's all we are learning in lesson number 6. It's a very easy lesson. That's all we are learning. Haza, hazihi, zalika and tilka. What is zalika? Ismu ishara lil ba'id, the demonstrative noun for things that are far from us. Zalika, that. Haza mean this, zalika mean that. So, when I say zalika babun, that is a door, it's quite far from me. So, if I want to say zalika masjidun, which means there is a mosque, a masjid, right. Now, if I want to say zalika yasirun, that is yasir. Zalika is used for masculine, that is yasir. But if I want to point towards Fatima, then would I use zalika? No, I would say tilka Fatima. That is Fatima, because Fatima is feminine in nature. So, and there are a lot of exercises in lesson number 6. I am just giving the concept. So, when we do, inshallah, we will do the lesson number 6 today, a lot of examples there. But just understand what is haza, what is hazihi, what is zalika, what is tilka, and when do we use these demonstrative nouns, when do we use them. And these demonstrative nouns, lil qarib, things that are near to us, or lil ba'id, things that are far from us, in the Quran all the time. Okay, in the Quran all the time. Here we have selected few ayahs from the Quran just to understand the hazihi and tilka. The examples are from hazihi and tilka. Example number 1 from Surah Yasin, ayah number 63. And this is a scenario where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking in future when the mushrikeen will be said, hazihi jahannamu. What is this hazihi? At that time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Jahannam, the hell would be right in front of them. They could actually see it from their own eyes, so near to them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, at that time, we will said to them, hazihi, this. You see how the emotions and how it all makes sense now. How it makes more sense now to use hazihi here rather than anything else. Jahannamu, Jahannamu. What is Jahannamu? Is feminine gender. It's feminine gender. Hazihi Jahannamu. This is hell. Allati, which kuntum tu'adun. You were all promised. You were all promised. We are not going into too much detail here. We are not going into too many grammatical analysis here. Just the rough translation, right? Just the rough translation. There are many things that we can discuss in this ayah, but so far our knowledge is, we are applying that knowledge. Allati. Allati is a feminine for allazi. Remember in Quran, allazi comes a lot of time. I am just saying it. If you remember this thing, fine. Allazi is used for masculine gender, and when there is a feminine gender, then we use allati. Just an extra bit of an information, that's all. This is the Jahannam, this is the hell, allati, which hath been promised to you all. Tu'adun, tu'adun, second person. We have not done it yet, but this conversation is happening as a second person. Number second, Surah Zumar, ayah number 10. Lillazina, li is harf jar, li harf jar we have done, for or belong to. Allazina, for those, belong to those, ahsanu, for those, ahsanu. What is the meaning of ahsanu? Those who do good. Ahsanu is a verb which basically represents somebody doing good more than required, over and above, more than what is mandatory. It is more than above. For those who do ahsanu, do good more than above or more than required, fi, what is fi? We know fi, harf jar. And what follows harf jar? Ism majroor. Hazihi. Now hazihi is ism? Yes, it is ism. Is it majroor? Yes. But it is mabni. Hazihi will remain hazihi. In any form, here hazihi is hazihi. Here hazihi is hazihi. It will remain hazihi. It has only one uniform. Ism majroor. In this dunya, for those who do good in this dunya, in, fi means in, hazihi dunya. What does that tell me, dunya? Dunya is feminine in gender, feminine in nature, right? And this dunya, hazihi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using hazihi, which means ismu ishara lil qareeb, this word, which is right in front of our eyes. Hasana, it is good for them. It is better for them actually. Hasana means better, not good, better, right? It is better. Next example, Surah Al-Ankabut, ayah number 64. وَمَا هَذِهِ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا لَهْوٌ وَلَعِبٌ. Now, something we have learned in lesson number 1 or lesson number 2 about man and ma. Ma is a pronoun, istifhamiyya, right? Interrogative pronoun. But ma can also come as in negation. We have not learned this yet, but here ma is coming as negation, not as interrogation. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, wa, what is wa? Ataf, we know that, we've learned that, and hazihil hayatud dunya illa lahwun wa la'ibun, hayatud dunya, worldly life, worldly life, worldly life. This worldly life is not ma, not. Now, when you translate, the translation, the order is different. So, and I was looking at some of the translations before coming to the class to prepare for the class, and some of the translations were very different from one to another, very different, and they were explained in a very different manner. I'm not saying they're wrong, but I'm saying is that we need to understand Quran directly in Arabic language to understand the actual context of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, because translation would never be justify the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They will tell us some context, but would not tell us exactly. Worldly life, this worldly life, hazihi hayat. What is hayat? Life. It is feminine gender. You see the ta marbuta at the end. Now, dunya and jahannam, you don't see the ta marbuta, but they are feminine. And how do we know that? Dictionary will tell us. Dictionary will tell us. And I would recommend a very good dictionary. I think we have to invest in ourselves and then start buying a dictionary, which I will recommend inshallah soon. Whenever you see a word in Quran and you want to ponder upon that word, go to that dictionary and then read about it. It will tell you whether this is feminine gender, whether this is masculine gender, in what context this noun has been used in Quran, specifically for Quran, because this dictionary is only for Quranic words. So, this worldly life is not or nothing illa, except harfu istasna, except lahbun wa la'ibun. Lahbun means amusement or playful or playing. This is not the word for amusement or love. This is not the worldly life is all about. There is more to this ayah, but so far we are learning about hazihi and applying some of the knowledge that we have learned so far. Let's move on to examples. Tilka, Surah Maryam, ayah number 63. What is common in these three examples? Hazihi, ismu ishara lil qareeb. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pointing towards something which is near to us, very close to us. In tilka, we using the feminine gender, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about something that is a bit far from us, a bit far from us. So, you see how if we understand haza, hazahi, zalika, tilka, and we read the Quran, when we start thinking about it, and I would say here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using tilka, then my pondering of the ayah will begin, because I know what tilka is used for. So, the example is Surah Maryam, ayah number 63, tilkal jannatu, it's far from us. Jannatu is feminine. You can see the ta marbuta there. Most of the time you should be able to identify a noun when you see a ta marbuta at the end. That is Jannah, heaven. Allati. Now, why allati? Again, it's a feminine gender. So, allazi is used for masculine gender, allati is used for feminine gender. We will learn about allati a bit more, but this is a little bit more of information. There is the Jannah, the heaven, which nurisu min ibadina. We have created for inheritance min ibadina, for my servants. Man kana taqiyan, those who were God fearing, those who were fearing. What is min? Harf jar. We know about that. So, you see, even though we are just starting and this is class number 10, if we are really serious about what we are learning, take an ayah and try to identify things that we have learned so far. We have learned about tilka. We know al jannah is a noun. We can identify it. Min, after min comes ibadi. It's a majroor. Man, what is man? Who? Man, who? You know, remember man haza, who is this? Man haza, I think we learned it in lesson number 1. Man who kana taqiyan, who were God fearing, or they who were fearing. That is the Jannah which we have made for inheritance for my servants who were God fearing. Suratul Zukhruf, ayah number 72. Wow, harf ataf, and tilka, that, al jannah, allati, that is the jannah which is awristumuha, we have made it for inheritance, bima kuntum ta'malun, in what you were all used to do, or you were used to do. What is be? What is ma? Ma is pronoun, but it is noun, right? Kuntum ta'malun, but we have not done kana yet. We have not done kana yet. Ta'malun. Now, this conversation, from looking at ta'malun, I can tell this conversation is happening second person.
Yes.
This conversation is happening in second person, right? So, and then once we once we identify what is happening in the ayah, when we do the grammatical analysis and when we are able to identify, then the entire emotions in us will change. The entire emotions will change. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to us directly now, one on one, just like people who are in front of me and we are conversing, just like that. How could it not be possible if somebody is talking to me as a second person and I would not listen? Would I do that to my parents or to my teacher or to my boss? If they are telling me something, advising me something, ordering me something, saying something, how could I not pay attention? Would I just like think, listen to it and just forget about it and then just move on? No, I would not do that in this worldly life. Al hayatud dunya, I would not do it. So that is why are we learning this Arabic grammar? So that we can identify what is happening in the ayah. And then once we realize it, then the emotions of that ayah will entirely change. Even if you read the translation would not tell you these things. Even though the person who is doing it may know, but that person would not be able to tell you these things, because these are the things that we have to think ourselves.
In Awristumuha is also second person.
Next ayah, Suratul Qasas. Next surah, Suratul Qasas, ayah number 83. You see, some of you may find it a bit confusing sometimes, but the ultimate objective of this course is to understand the Quran. Okay, so what we are trying to do here by bringing these examples, even though it's very early, Dr. Saab is probably would not be happy with us, but it's very early in this course that we are bringing. But we think that the reason we are all sitting here in our houses or here to understand Quran. So the ultimate objective of this course or trying to understand the grammar is to analyze the Quran and understand the Quran. So whatever we are learning, whatever we could, even when we are listening to the Quran in Salah or reading it, we identify a few things that is better than nothing at this time. Inshallah, in next few years, 3 or 4 years, we should be able to understand a lot. The last one, tilka darul akhiratu, house, hereafter house, that is hereafter house, naj'aluha, we have created it. Ha is damir muttasil. Lillazina, for those, la yuriduna, who do not wish, uluvun, higher status or proud, fil ardi, in this earth, fi, harf jar, al ardi is a majroor, wala fasadin, and do not spread corruption. We are just doing a very rough translation. We are not analyzing it, we are not doing word to word. just as a conceptual translation, right? So you read it and then you understand it directly in its context. So that is hereafter house. We have created it for those who do not wish to become proud or
who are not oppressive.
oppressive or proud, fil ardi, in this earth, and do not spread corruption, or oppressors as well. Make an habit. My advice, make an habit. Even one ayah or two ayah, take it out, read through, look at the translation word to word, identify what you have learned so far, make a habit of applying that knowledge. Now, with that, we will move on to our lesson number 5. We will finish lesson number 5. And the last time we stopped at page number 30. Did we do Ainal Kalabu Huwa Tahta Sayyarati? We have done that. So, the next one is exercise number 5, page number 30. I will give few seconds to everybody to open up the book, go to page number 30. Page number 30, exercise number 5. Now, what are we learning in lesson number 5? Mudaf, mudaf alayh, right? Mudaf, mudaf alayh. And what is mudaf? Mudaf is the thing which is oppressed, or which is possessed, and mudaf alayh is the possessor. And the mudaf cannot have an al, mudaf cannot have a tanween, right? And both of them are creating a compound which is a possessive case. We have learned that. So, we will just quickly go over the exercises. We have been doing exercises and we will finish lesson number 5 inshallah. Exercise 5, al-bayti mughlaqun. Al-bayti mughlaqun. Now, al-bayti is the mudaf alayh. We have to bring in a suitable mudaf. So, I would say babu, babul bayti mughlaqun. Door of the house is closed, right? Number 1, door. So, just write babu in the, fill in the blanks, write in the blank. Number 2, aina blank as-sayyarati. Where is something of sayyara? Sayyara mean the car. So, I would say miftahu, miftahus sayyarati, miftahus sayyarati. Where is key of the car? Number 3, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Rasulu Allahi, Rasulullahi, right? Mudaf, mudaf alayh, Rasulu mudaf, Allahi mudaf alayh. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Rasulullahi. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is messenger of Allah. I am not doing the grammatical analysis because we have done it. We are just doing the exercises. Number 4, at-tabibi ba'idun, something about the doctor which is, ba'idun means far, which is far. So, what is about it? Baitu, house, or we can bring anything. Baitu tabibi ba'idun, baitu, house of the doctor is far. What is baitu? Mubtada. This is jumla ismiya. Wahuwa, and it is also a mudaf. At-tabibi mudaf alayh. Where is the khabar? Where is the khabar? Ba'idun. You see, at-tabibi cannot be a khabar, because so far we have learned that there are 5 types of khabar. We have learned 3 types. The khabar can be one word, and if it's one word, it has to be marfu. At-tabibi is not marfu. At-tabibi is mudaf alayh. Ba'idun is marfu. So, ba'idun is your khabar. Number 5, al-Qur'anu kitabu Allahi, Kitabullahi, Al-Qur'anu, the Qur'an, Mubtada. Where is the khabar? Kitabu. Quran is a book. Wahuwa mudaf, book of Allah. When I say Al-Quranu Kitabullahi, and this is a concept I think Dr. Saab discussed in book 2, I think, but I am just giving some extra information. I am just giving some extra information. If you remember this one, Alhamdulillah. If you don't worry about it. The concept is coming in book 2, inshallah. When I say Al-Qur'anu Kitabu, Al-Quran, is it definite?
Yes.
Definite. Mubtada. Kitabu, is it definite or indefinite? Indefinite. Indefinite, right? But it is also playing a role of mudaf. And what is mudaf alayh? Allahi. Allahi, is it definite? Yes, it is definite. If Allah is definite, then kitab automatically becomes definite. For example, if I say qalamun, I have a pen here. I say qalamun. Qalamun is indefinite. But if I say qalamul mudarrisi, pen of the teacher, now this pen is belonging to somebody and that is the teacher. So, now by virtue of its mudaf alayh, which is definite, the teacher, the kalam is automatically being thought of as definite, because now this is not any pen, this is the pen which is belonging to the mudarris. So, Al-Qur'anu Kitabullahi. Now, this is what we are talking about, learning grammar. When we read the Quran, and then when we come across a mudaf alayh, and if I see a mudaf alayh is a definite noun, then I would automatically go back, ponder upon it and see, okay, mudaf is definite too, what exactly is going on in that ayah. Just a bit of an information. Number 6, Khatijatu bintu Hamidin. Khatijatu bint Hamidin. Khatija is daughter of Hamid. Number 7, Ana al Mudarrisi. Anabnil Mudarrisi. I am Anabnul Mudarrisi. I am son of the teacher. Number 8, Qalamut Talibi Maksurun. Qalamut Talibi, pen of the student is broken. So, there is one student whose pen is broken. Number 9, Babul Masjidi Maftuhun. Door of the masjid is open. Maftuhun, open. Number 10, Kharajal Mudarrisu. Now comes kharaja. Now comes kharaja, verb. Whenever there is a verb, an action, there has to be a doer of the action. If I just say kharaja, then my mind automatically say kharaja, okay, kharaja is huwa, and the doer of the action is hidden inside the kharaja, estimation of it is huwa, but then sometimes or the doer of the action is specified in the verbal sentence, and that file or the doer of the action is a noun and it would always be marfu. So, who left? Al Mudarrisu, the Mudarris, and who is the doer of the action? Al Mudarrisu. Kharaj al Mudarrisu minal ghurfatil mudiri. Let us say ghurfati, from room of the headmaster. Number 6, Correct the following sentence. This is a good exercise. Number 6 is a good exercise. Correct the following. Now, here we are applying our knowledge. Now, Dr. Saab is giving us a sentence which is wrong. We have to correct it. And these sentences are supposedly mudaf mudaf alayh. Okay, supposedly mudaf mudaf alayh. What is the first one? Al qalamut talibi. Now, can mudaf have an al? No, no. So, the correction in this sentence is qalamut talibi. Remove the al because mudaf cannot have an al. Number 2, babus sayyara tu, door of the car. Now, sayyarati because mudaf alayh is majroor. So, babus sayyarati, very good. Bintu hamidun, bintu hamidin, daughter of Hamid. Ar rasulullahi, rasulullahi, mudaf cannot have an al. Rasulullahi, very good. Ismul walada, no, mudaf alayh has to be majroor. So, ismul waladi, name of the boy. Ibnul mudar, ibnun, ibnun. Can mudaf have tanween? No, mudaf cannot have tanween. So, we say ibnul mudarrisi. Remove the tanween, put a single dhamma there. So, ibnul mudarrisi, which is son of the teacher. Number 7, this is harfu nida, particle of calling. We have learned that in the previous class or class before. So, Muhammadun, and when I say Ya Muhammad, Ya Muhammadu. So far, we just remember that. Simple as that. There are more rules attached to the harfu nida, the particle of calling. We are not learning them yet. Let's just keep it simple for now. So, whenever there is a tanween in the noun which we are calling about, the tanween will go away because ya harfu nida, particle of calling, will make it single dhamma, remove the dhamma. Ustazun ya ustazu, Khalidun ya Khalidu, Waladun ya Waladu. Right? Waladu means boy. Oh boy. And one thing that we learned about harfu nida, particle of calling, when I say ya ustazu, oh teacher, that means the teacher is in front of me. I cannot say oh teacher when the teacher is not present. So, remember that when ya is coming, that means the conversation is happening in second person. Second person. Ikra waktub, read and write, ma, with dabti awakhiril kalimati. This is a good exercise. We have to put proper vowel signs at the end. Ya Ali, you, very good. Ya Abba, Abba, Su. Shaykhun, Shaykhun. Put the tanween because there is no ya here. Shaykhun, Ya Shaykhu, Ya Rajalu, Ya Si Run, Ya Amma Ru, Duktu Run, Ya Duktu Ru. Number 8, Kitabu man haza. Dr. Saab is giving us an example, and we have to understand this example and then apply the knowledge we gain from this example in the next fill in the blanks. Kitabu man, whose book? This is a compound. What is kitabu? A noun. What is man? A pronoun, but it's a noun. This is whose book is this? Kitabu man. Kitabu is your mudaf, man is your mudaf alayh. So, I am talking about a particular book here, a possessive case. Whose book is this? Kitabu mudaf, man mudaf alayh. Kitabu man haza, whose book is this? Now, why man is, I do not see man as as majroor here? Because man is mabni. Man will remain man. Man will never changes, but my mind knows. Here, my mind knows, even though I don't see the kasra here, that man is mudaf alayh, and my mind knows it is taqdeeruhu, estimation of it is majroor. Right. The next one is, there is a diagram or a picture of a pen, and I have to say qalamu man haza, whose pen is this. Then there is a shirt, qamisu man haza, whose shirt is this. And then there is a picture of house, baytu man haza, whose house is this, whose house is this. And bed, sarirun, sariru man haza, whose bed is this. Number 9, ismun and ibnun. Ismun means name. Ismul waladi Muhammadun, ismul waladi. What compound is that? Mudaf, mudaf alayh. Name of the boy is Muhammad. Wa. Now, here what Dr. Saab is trying to teach us, that is important. Ism has hamzatul wasal in there. Remember, we learned about hamzatul wasal and hamzatul qata. Hamzatul wasal is the hamza of assimilation. So, whenever there is, for example, waw is there, harf ataf or something, we can assimilate. If there is a harf jar there, we assimilate. We say ismullahi, name of Allah, but when I say bi bismillah, right, bi harf jar comes. So, the hamza of the ism will assimilate. So, the harf jar will assimilate itself and then join with the sin, bismillah. So, here I am saying wasmul binti, wasmul binti, and name of the daughter Zainabu is Zainab. Ismul mudarrisi Hamidun, name of the teacher is Hamid. Masmul mudiri, what is ma? Ma istafamiya, ma of interrogation. Masmul mudiri, what is name of the headmaster? So, you can see Dr. Saab is putting a small neck of the swad on top of the alif, which means it is hamzatul wasal, hamza of assimilation. Ibnun, son. Ibnu Khalidin, son of Khalid, fil madrasati, is in the school. Do you want to analyze this? Of course. What is ibnu? Mubtada. Wahuwa, and it is also a mudaf alayh. Khalidin, ibnu mudaf, Khalidin is mudaf alayh, right. Where is the khabar? Fil madrasati, second type of khabar. So, remember, so far we have learned 3 types. If khabar is one word, then it is marfu. The khabar can be jar wa majroor, jarun wa majroorun, harf jar ism majroor, right. So, in this case, fil madrasati is the predicate, the information we are getting for son of Khalid. He is in the school. Wabnu, wabnu, and son of Hamid fil jamiyati, is in the university, is in the university. Ibnul mudarrisi, son of the teacher, fil fasli, is in the class. Aina ibnul mudiri, where is son of the headmaster?
So, in order to just understand, like mudaf alayh cannot be a khabar.
No,
So whenever
no.
you need to identify if you see mudafila,
That's not the khabar. This is just a possessive case, right? Then we need to see the khabar. So khabar of 5 kinds, right? So we need to see whether it's one word, or it is jar majrur, or it is shibu jumla zarf, or the 2 other, which is could be jumla ismi or jumla fe'liya. Next one. Next one, Dr. Saab is just giving us more exercises about Hamzatul Wasal. Number 1, Ibnu Muhammadin, son of Muhammad, fil Iraqi. Now, if the Arabs are not there, put the Arabs. It's very important, very important. The Arabs, when we put the Arabs, we are actually solidifying our concept that we have been learning so far. So, when I say Ibnu and I am not putting a tanween there, which means I understand that Ibnu is playing a role of mubtada plus mudaf, and mudaf cannot have a tanween. So, we say Ibnu Muhammadin. Muhammadin is your mudaf alayh. There are no Arabs there, so just put the Arabs there. Son of Muhammad, fil Iraqi, harf jar followed by ism majroor, fil Iraqi. Son of Muhammad is in Iraq. Wabnu Hamidin fil Hindi, and son of Hamid is in India. In India, fil Hindi. Number 2, now Kharajabnu, again Kharajabnu, you see this is Hamzatul Wasal. So, we assimilate the Hamza. Kharajabnu, Kharajabnu tabibi minal baiti. Where is the doer of the action? Kharaja comes, this is jumla fe'liya. When there is a jumla fe'liya, we need to find who is the doer of the action. Ibnu. You see, whenever there is a jumla fe'liya, we need to identify who is the doer of the action, because action cannot happen until there is a doer of the action. And in this case, kharaja is followed by a noun which is marfu, automatically qualifies it to be the doer of the action.
This cannot be Ibn Tabibi, it's just
Ibnu, son. But then wahuwa mudaf and at-tabibi is mudaf alayh. Minal baiti. Number 3, zahababnu tajiri ila suki. Again same thing, zahaba, the verb is coming, it's jumla fe'liya. What are we looking for in jumla fe'liya? The minimum requirement for jumla fe'liya is fail and file, the action and the doer of the action. And then sometimes we need a maf'ul. There are certain types of verbs which we call the mutaaddi. Remember the concept, Khalil bhai? Mutaaddi, ghair mutaaddi. Zahababnu tajiri ila suki, son of the merchant went ila suki, to the market, right. So, if I have to analyze this, let us analyze this. Zahaba is your fail madi, past tense. Zahaba is your past tense. When we come to book 3, we do not call it just fail madi. We say zahaba fail madi mabni ala fatah, right, mabni ala fatah. Ibnu is your file, wahuwa mudaf, at-tajiri mudaf alayh, ila harf jar, as-suki ism majrur, right. Number 4, ismul muhandisi, name of the engineer. Faisalun is Faisal. Wasmut tabibi Mas'udun, and name of the doctor is Mas'ud. Is there any questions, Nambai? Everything's fine? Yeah. Name of the engineer is Faisal and name of the doctor is Mas'ud. Masmur Rajalu, what is the name of the man? Number 6. Ibnu Man, Anta, Ibnu Man Anta, whose son are you? Remember Anta? Huwa huma hum, hiya huma hunna, Anta, you. Anta antuma antum, anti antuma antunna, ananhanu. So Anta comes. Whose son are you? The answer is Ana. Ana nahnu, first person I am, Mubtada. Anabnul Waziri, I am son of the minister, son of the minister. Ana is Mubtada, where is the khabar? Ibnu. Wahuwa Mudaf. Al Waziri Mudaf alayh. Right? Ibnu itself is indefinite, but the minister makes him definite. Al kalimatul jadidatu, ar rasulu, al kaaba tu, al ismu, al ibnu, we have already done it. Al ammu, al khalu, al haqibatu, al sayyaratu, al shari'u, the street, mughlaqun, closed, tahta, under, zarf, hunaka, over there. We have already done these new words that we have learned in this lesson. And the last one Dr. Saab is saying sayyaratul mudarrisi mudaf mudaf alayh. This brings us end to lesson number 5 inshallah. How much time we have?
It's already 1 hour.
Yeah.
Just ask
Yeah.
if any questions.
Yeah. Are there any questions before we move on to lesson number 6? We'll just do few. We'll just start lesson number 6. We'll probably not be able to finish it, but just to solidify our knowledge of haza, hazihi, zalika, tilka, because even though we have seen their application in Quran, but then we have not done some of the examples. So, first page we will do it to understand some of the examples. Are there any questions? No. Okay. So, lesson number 6 will begin. It's a very easy lesson. There is nothing new in this lesson except for hazihi and tilka. That's it. Hazihi, hazi, hazabnu hamidin, hazabnu hamidin, haza, ismu ishara, lil qarib, masculine, absolutely masculine, and it is mubtada. Where is the khabar? Ibnu, hazabnu, this is son, wahuwa mudaf, hamidin, son of hamidin, wa, and harfu ataf, hazihi bintu yasirin. Now, why hazihi here? Because now we are not talking about son here, we are talking about daughter here. So, I cannot use haza. So, I say hazihi bintu yasirin. This is son of Hamid and this is daughter of Yasir, and actually there is a picture there as well. Wa bintu Yasirin, and this is daughter of Yasir. You see how haza become hazihi because masculine and gender difference. Next one, Ibnu Hamidin, son of Hamid, Jalisun. Jalisun means sitting. Jalisun means sitting. Jalisin is your khabar. Ibnu Hamidun Jalisin, wa bintu, and daughter Yasirin of Yasir, waqifatun. Waqifun, what is the meaning of waqifun? Standing. But then since I am talking about daughter of Yasir, which is feminine gender, waqifun, the masculine gender, I have to change it into a feminine gender by bringing in the gol ta marbuta to make it feminine gender. So, rather than saying waqifun, I would say waqifatun. Very important that mubtada and khabar should match in gender and should match in number. Okay. So, here bintu Yasirin waqifatun, bintu is your mubtada wa huwa mudaf, Yasirin mudaf alayh, and waqifatun is your khabar, and I have to make khabar feminine here. Man hazihi. Now, we are not saying man haza because we are talking about, look at the picture is a female gender. Man hazihi, who is this? Hazihi ukhtul muhandisi. This, what is the meaning of ukhtu? Sister. This is sister of the engineer. Al muhandisun is engineer, al muhandisu the engineer, right. What if I have to change al muhandisu into a feminine gender? Muhandisatun. I have to bring in the ta marbut at the end. So, now we are saying man hazihi, who is this? Hazihi ukhtul muhandis, ukhtul muhandisi. This is sister of the engineer. Ahiya aidan there you go, muhandisatun, it came. Ahiya aidan muhandisatun, is she also an engineer? What is this Hamza to istifham, we have already learned it. You see, there was a comment in previously in the survey that we need to have special classes to revise the concept we have learned so far. Every single lesson, whatever we have learned, we just keep repeating it. So, there is no need for a special class, because every single time when a concept comes, we repeat it. We keep and we will keep repeating it until we finish the entire course in next 3 or 4 years, whatever that is, right. So, we'll keep repeating to solidify our concepts. So, what is the function of The function of the Hamza to istifham, there are few qualities we learned about it. It always comes in the beginning of the sentence, even though sometimes it does not belong, but it will push aside the words and will come in the beginning of the sentence, number 1. Number 2, it will change the sentence into a question. So, in order to demonstrate it, for a second imagine remove Hamza to istifham from the sentence, remove it. What remains? Hiya aidan muhandasatun, she is also an engineer. If I remove Hamza to istifham, the translation is the question mark will go away, because I am not making a question. She is also an engineer. But when I bring the Hamza to istifham, is she also an engineer? That is the function of Hamza to istifham. So, the answer is la, no. Hiya tabibatun, she is a doctor. Hiya tabibatun. Now, tabibun means a doctor, and then a male doctor, and when I make tabibun into a female doctor, tabibatun, I have to bring in ta marbuta. Okay. Next one, sayyaratu man hazihi. Now, why hazihi? Sayyaratu feminine. Sayyaratu man, whose car is this? Hazihi sayyaratul mudiri. Hazihi sayyaratul mudiri. This is car of the headmaster or principal. Car. Hazihi is your mubtada, ismu shara, lil kareeb, things that are near to us. Where is the khabar? Sayyaratu. Wa huwa mudaf. Al mudiri mudaf alayh. Right? It is all connected. Ma hazihi. What is this? Ma. Now, ma here is coming as in interrogation. here ma is coming in negation. Here ma is coming as negation in this ayah. So ma can come as istifhamiyah in interrogation, ma can also come in negation. So here it is coming as interrogation. Ma hazihi, what is this? Hazihi mikwatun. This is an iron. What is mikwatun? When I say mikwatun, I see a ta marbuta there. So immediately my mind knows that it is a feminine gender, right? So I would not use haza here, I would use hazihi. Okay, I think we can stop here, the first page, and inshallah we'll continue with this lesson and finish it in the next class. And then try to finish lesson number 7 as well. When we are sitting here or standing here learning, we make a lot of mistakes, and we always ask for pardon from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and for that we always finish our lecture with the last section of Surah Al-Baqarah, where we ask pardon from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if we have forgot something or if we had made mistakes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may forgive us. We try our best. We are only learning, and in learning there will be some bumps, there will be few hurdles, we may forget something, we may make a mistake. So for that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha laha ma kasabat wa alayha maktasabat. Rabbana la tu'akhizna in nasina aw akhtana. Rabbana wa la tahmil alayna isran kama hamaltahu ala allazina min qablina. Rabbana wa la tuhammilna ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.